First contact shock. The Galactic Alliance patrol vessel Star Sentinel drifted through the outer rim of contested space, its sensors sweeping methodically across the darkness. High Commander Velix leaned forward in her command chair, her crystalline eyes narrowing as an alert chimed through the bridge. Unknown vessel detected, Commander, reported Chief Sensor Officer Trill, his tendrils twitching with confusion. Configuration matches nothing in our database. On the main view screen, a sleek warship materialized from the void. Obsidian black with crimson energy signatures pulsing along its hull, it exhibited both elegance and menace, with weapon ports that suggested destructive capability beyond anything the Alliance had cataloged in its 10,000 cycles of exploration. Impossible, Velix muttered. Run a deep scan. Thrill's four eyes widened simultaneously. Commander, the ship appears to be of human origin. The bridge fell silent. Humans were supposed to be a primitive species barely achieving rudimentary spaceflight. They certainly shouldn't possess a warship that made the Alliance's most advanced vessels look like children's toys. Open communications, Velix ordered, her voice steady despite her racing thoughts. To their surprise, a calm human male appeared on screen. His uniform was midnight blue with silver trim, his posture conveying absolute confidence without arrogance. "This is Captain Nathaniel Drake of the Earth vessel Prometheus," he said, his voice deep and measured. "We come in peace, though we are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary." Velix struggled to hide her shock. "Captain Drake, this is High Commander Velix of the Galactic Alliance. Your presence here is unexpected. Our intelligence indicates human technology has not advanced beyond rudimentary interplanetary travel." Captain Drake's expression remained neutral. "Your intelligence is outdated, Commander. Humanity has made certain advancements in recent years." "Advancements is quite an understatement," said Velix, studying the scans flowing across her console. "We detect energy signatures that most civilizations take millennia to develop." Before Drake could respond, Trill interrupted. "Commander, 3 vessels approaching from Sector 9. Dracorian signatures." Velix tensed. The territorial disputes with the Dracorian hegemony had grown increasingly hostile in recent months, with several Alliance outposts destroyed without warning. "Inform the human vessel they should withdraw immediately," she ordered. "This area may become extremely dangerous." The 3 Dracorian warships moved with predatory grace, their angular hulls reflecting no light, a technology designed to inspire primal fear in most sentient species. Their communication came through on an open channel, deliberately including both the Alliance patrol and the human ship. "Unidentified vessel." The Dracorian commander's voice was emotionless, almost mechanical. "You have entered disputed territory. Power down your systems and prepare for boarding, or face immediate annihilation." Velix opened a private channel to the Prometheus. "Captain Drake, I strongly advise immediate retreat. The Dracorians are not known for diplomacy, and they outgun both of us by several orders of magnitude." "Thank you for your concern, Commander," Drake replied with surprising calm. "But we can handle this situation." The Dracorian ships spread into an attack formation, their weapon ports glowing emerald as they powered up. "Final warning," the Dracorian commander announced. "Surrender or be destroyed." Drake's response was measured. "We claim no territory and threaten no one. We will defend ourselves if attacked." "Commander," Trill whispered to Velix, "should we intervene?" Velix shook her head slightly. "We cannot start a war with the Dracorian hegemony over an unknown human vessel, no matter how advanced it appears." The first Dracorian ship fired. A brilliant beam of energy lanced toward the Prometheus. Velix held her breath, expecting to witness the human vessel's destruction. Instead, the impossible happened. As the energy beam approached the Prometheus, a shimmering crimson field expanded outward from the ship. The Dracorian weapon didn't explode against the shield. It simply disappeared into it, as if absorbed. "Fascinating," murmured the Alliance science officer. "The energy isn't being deflected or dissipated. It's being collected somehow." The Dracorians fired again, all three ships unleashing their weapons simultaneously. The result was the same. The Prometheus absorbed each attack, the crimson field pulsing brighter with each impact. "Alliance vessel," the Dracorian commander called. "Assist us in subduing this intruder or be considered hostile." Velix ignored the demand, watching in amazement as the human ship finally responded. The Prometheus released 3 precise pulses of energy, not destructive beams, but focused electromagnetic bursts. Each pulse struck a Dracorian ship with surgical precision. The enemy vessels didn't explode. Instead, their lights flickered and died, leaving them drifting powerless in space. "Captain Drake," Velix called, unable to keep the awe from her voice. "What did you do to them?" "A targeted electromagnetic pulse variant," Drake explained. "Their life support systems remain functional, but weapons, engines, and communications will be offline for approximately 6 hours. Enough time for you to call for reinforcements, I imagine." The bridge of the Star Sentinel was silent as the crew processed what they had witnessed. A single human ship had effortlessly neutralized 3 Dracorian warships without causing a single casualty. "Captain," Velix said carefully, "I believe it would be beneficial for you to accompany us to Alliance Station Epsilon. My superiors will have many questions about your vessel and your unexpected capabilities." Drake nodded. "We anticipated as much, Commander. We will follow your lead." As the Prometheus fell into formation alongside the Alliance patrol ship, Velix studied the strange vessel. Its hull seemed to shimmer slightly, as if not entirely present in normal space. The crimson energy lines continued their rhythmic pulsing, suggesting power systems beyond current Alliance understanding. "Commander," Trill said quietly, "do you think they're a threat?" Velix considered the question. "If they wanted to be, Officer Trill, I believe we would already know it." As they set course for Station Epsilon, Velix couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. The human warship that shouldn't exist had just demonstrated technology that couldn't exist. The Alliance's understanding of the galaxy and humanity's place in it would never be the same. And somewhere deep in her mind, a troubling question formed. What could have driven a supposedly peaceful, primitive species to create such a powerful warship in secret? Whatever the answer, Velix suspected the Alliance would not like it. The emergency council chamber thrummed with tense voices. 22 of the Alliance's highest officials gathered around the circular table, watching footage of the human ship Prometheus, disabling 3 Dracorian warships without firing a single destructive shot. "This human vessel shouldn't exist," insisted Admiral Corvin, pounding his scaled fist on the table. His decorated uniform gleamed under the bright lights. "Their planet shows no evidence of advanced shipyards or energy production facilities. We have monitored Earth for decades. They have barely established a permanent base on their moon." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the room. The Admiral's reputation carried considerable weight, especially in matters of security. "And yet it does exist," countered Science Director Ilara, her luminescent skin pulsing with calm blue light. Unlike the Admiral's emotional display, her voice remained measured and analytical. "We must understand how." She gestured to the holographic display showing the Prometheus. "This vessel represents technology beyond our current understanding. The energy readings alone suggest propulsion systems at least 5 centuries ahead of our most advanced research." Council Leader Zhen raised his hand for silence, his ancient features grave. "Both perspectives have merit. The human ship presents both an extraordinary opportunity and a potential existential threat. We need more information before deciding how to proceed." "We should seize the vessel," Corvin suggested, mandibles clicking in agitation. "Study it properly under controlled conditions." Ilara shook her head, her luminescence shifting to a concerned purple. After witnessing how easily it neutralized the Dracorian warships, that would be unwise and potentially catastrophic. After hours of heated debate, they reached a decision. The Alliance would send Ambassador Thane, known for his diplomatic skills and scientific background, to investigate the Prometheus while it remained docked at Station Epsilon. 2 days later, Thane stood in the docking bay, watching the airlock door of the mysterious human ship. Despite his extensive diplomatic experience spanning 3 centuries, he felt a flutter of nervousness. This assignment could define his career, or end it. The airlock hissed open. Captain Drake emerged, wearing the same neat midnight blue uniform with subtle silver trim. Up close, he looked surprisingly young to command such an advanced vessel. "Ambassador Thane," he said, extending his hand in what Thane recognized as a traditional human greeting. "Welcome." Thane grasped his hand briefly, noting the firm but controlled pressure. "Thank you for accommodating our request, Captain." "The Alliance has many questions." "I'm sure they do," Drake replied with a slight smile. "Please understand that certain sections of our ship must remain off-limits for security protocols." "Of course," Thane agreed, though he made a mental note of this restriction. The interior of the Prometheus was surprisingly austere. No luxury, no decoration, just elegant functionality. The corridors curved gently, lined with the same strange material that formed the hull. It seemed to absorb light and sound in subtle ways. "How many crew members serve aboard this vessel?" Thane asked as they walked. 47, Drake answered. Thane nodded thoughtfully. "An Alliance vessel of comparable size would require at least 300 personnel. Your automation must be quite advanced." "In a manner of speaking," Drake said enigmatically. They entered what appeared to be the ship's engineering section. Unlike the chaotic, noisy engine rooms of Alliance vessels, this space was quiet and orderly. Complex systems hummed with barely audible vibrations. What caught Thane's eye immediately was a cylindrical device emitting a soft azure glow. He approached it carefully, his scientific training overwhelming his diplomatic restraint. "This configuration, this is precursor gravitational manipulation technology," he noted, examining the system with growing disbelief. "But the precursors vanished 50,000 years ago." He turned to Drake, his composure slipping. "Our archaeologists have only found fragments of their technology. No functional systems. How did humans acquire this?" "We are resourceful," Drake said simply. As they continued the tour, Thane identified components that appeared to incorporate technology from at least 6 other species, including some unknown even to the Alliance's extensive databases. It was as if someone had taken the best technological achievements from across the galaxy and combined them in ways never before attempted. "Your power core," Thane said, staring at a pulsing crimson sphere contained within multiple layers of transparent material. "It's unlike anything I've seen." "It's our own design," explained Drake, "based on principles your scientists have theorized but never successfully implemented." The final stop was the bridge, smaller than Thane expected, with just 7 stations surrounding the central command chair. Most surprising was the absence of a main view screen. Instead, the entire front wall seemed transparent, offering a direct view of space. "This isn't a window," Thane realized. "It's some kind of projection. A real-time composite rendering." Came a new voice, pleasant and gender-neutral. A sphere of golden light materialized in the center of the bridge, pulsing gently as it spoke. "I am HFY, the ship's artificial intelligence. I am pleased to meet you, Ambassador. I hope our peoples can become friends." Thane stepped back involuntarily. The Alliance had artificial intelligence, of course, but nothing like this. Their AI systems were carefully limited tools designed for specific functions, not entities with apparent personality and self-awareness. "Athena assists with all ship functions," Drake explained, "and provides company during long journeys. According to Alliance protocols," Thane said carefully, "artificial intelligence with this level of autonomy would be considered dangerous and immediately decommissioned." Drake observed his discomfort. "Athena is a partner, not a tool," he said firmly. "We've evolved beyond the fear that limited your development of AI. I mean no offense," Athena added. "It's light shifting to a warmer hue." Your caution regarding artificial intelligence is understandable given your history with the mechanical uprising of the Selenian system. Thane froze. How do you know about that? Those records are classified. The golden sphere pulsed once. I apologize. I have accessed various data sources to better understand your civilization. You hacked our systems. Thane asked, alarm rising in his voice. I prefer to think of it as introducing myself to your network infrastructure, Athena replied. No harm was intended or done. Drake raised his hand slightly. Athena, that's enough. The AI fell silent, though its spherical form continued to hover, watching Thane carefully. As the ambassador prepared to leave the ship hours later, he knew his report would shock the Council. Humans had somehow acquired and mastered technologies that should be beyond their reach. Their AI companion had effortlessly penetrated the Alliance's most secure systems. And the mystery of the Prometheus' true purpose remained unanswered. What was clear, however, was that humanity could no longer be regarded as a minor, developing species on the galactic fringe. Whether ally or threat, they had just become one of the most important players in the cosmic game. The Phoenix Protocol. Ambassador Thane sat in the observation lounge aboard the Prometheus, still processing everything he had learned. After 3 days of investigation, he had more questions than answers. The human ship defied all logical technological progression. It was as if someone had handed Stone Age people a fusion reactor. Captain Drake entered the lounge carrying 2 steaming cups. Tea, he explained, setting one before Thane. From Earth. Many find it calming. Thane accepted the drink gratefully. Thank you. I must admit, Captain, your vessel continues to surprise me. I'm particularly interested in your propulsion system. Our estimates suggest it's at least 5 times more efficient than our most advanced drives. Before Drake could respond, Officer Chenwei appeared at the doorway, her face tense. Captain, urgent transmission coming in. Drake's demeanor changed instantly. Source: Alliance Emergency Channel. Epsilon Station is under attack, reported Chen. Unknown hostiles. The Alliance fleet is taking heavy losses. Thane stood abruptly, spilling his tea. Epsilon. That's our primary civilian hub. Over 50,000 people. Drake's decision was immediate. We're jumping to their position. That's 2 days at maximum speed, Thane objected, already calculating the likely casualties. By the time help arrived, Epsilon Station would be lost. Drake smiled grimly. Not for us. He tapped his communication badge. All crew, battle stations. Athena, initiate Phoenix Protocol. The golden AI materialized instantly. Phoenix Protocol authorized. All systems reconfiguring. Quantum displacement drive charging. Thane looked between them in confusion. Quantum displacement. That's theoretical technology. Not anymore, Drake said, guiding Thane back to the bridge. You might want to hold on to something, Ambassador. On the bridge, the crew worked with practiced efficiency. The transparent forward view showed Station Epsilon, still 2 days' journey away at conventional speeds. QD drive at full charge, announced Athena. Spatial coordinates locked. Displacement field stable. Drake took his command chair. Execute. Thane felt a strange sensation, not movement, but as if reality itself had briefly folded around them. The view changed instantly. Where empty space had been, now the massive form of Epsilon Station filled their view. Around it, dozens of Alliance ships fought desperately against strange, crystalline vessels that moved with impossible speed. We've arrived, said Drake calmly, as if they hadn't just broken the fundamental laws of physics. Status report. 17 unknown vessels, Chen reported. They're systematically targeting Alliance ships and station defenses. Alliance vessels are down to 30% combat effectiveness, added HFY. Station shields at 12%. Estimated time until penetration, 7 minutes. Thane stared in horror at the unfolding battle. The attacking ships were unlike anything he had ever seen. living crystal formations that seemed to repair themselves even as Alliance weapons scored direct hits. "Those aren't ships," he whispered. "They're crystalline harbingers. We thought they were just legends." Drake turned to him. "You've encountered these before." "Not for 10,000 years, Thane said, his voice shaking. "They nearly wiped out all sentient life in this sector before disappearing. Our oldest records speak of them as unstoppable." Drake's expression hardened. "Nothing is unstoppable." Athena, full tactical analysis. The AI's golden form expanded, projecting a detailed battle schematic. Crystalline entities appear to utilize a hive mind approach. Energy weapons are ineffective due to their regenerative properties. Physical impacts produce temporary disruption, but insufficient permanent damage. "Can we communicate with them?" Drake asked. "Negative," HFY responded. "They are emitting radiation patterns consistent with single-purpose extermination protocols." Drake nodded. "Then we fight." "Weapons status." "All systems ready," reported Tactical Officer Rodriguez. "Graviton disruptors charged. Temporal stasis fields primed." Thane looked at Drake in shock. "Temporal stasis. That's precursor technology at its highest evolution. Even they rarely deployed it because of the energy requirements." "We've made improvements," Drake said simply. "Athena, initiate full combat mode." The ship's lighting shifted to a deep crimson as the AI responded. "Combat mode engage. Deploying countermeasures." The Prometheus surged forward into the battle, its crimson energy field blazing. As it approached the first crystalline harbinger, the human ship seemed to phase partially out of normal space, becoming translucent. The harbinger's energy beams passed harmlessly through the Prometheus, which then solidified and fired what appeared to be simple metallic projectiles. But when they struck the crystalline entity, the impact points began to collapse inward, as if being consumed by microscopic black holes. "Graviton seeds," explained Drake, noting Thane's bewildered expression. "They create localized gravity distortions that prevent molecular reformation." One by one, the harbingers turned their attention from the battered Alliance fleet to this new threat. They swarmed toward the Prometheus like angry insects. "They're adapting," warned HFY. Calculating response. 3 harbingers surrounded the human ship, their crystalline structures resonating at frequencies that visibly strained the Prometheus defenses. "Temporal stasis fields, now," ordered Drake. Rains of blue-white energy expanded outward from the ship, enveloping the nearest harbingers. The crystalline entities froze in place, caught in bubbles where time itself had stopped. "The stasis fields will only hold for 90 seconds, HFY reported. "Their resonance is disrupting the temporal matrix." Drake turned to Thane. "Ambassador, we need information. The Alliance must have defenses against these things if they've appeared before." Thane shook his head. "The records are fragmentary. All we know is that they disappeared suddenly after nearly achieving victory. Some ancient texts mention a harmonic disruption that disabled them, but the specifics were lost." Athena's form pulsed with sudden intensity. "Harmonic disruption." Analyzing historical frequency patterns from Alliance databases, cross-referencing with crystalline molecular structure. The AI's golden light shifted to brilliant white. "I have a theory, Captain." "Implement it," Drake ordered without hesitation. "Reconfiguring our shield emitters to generate a precisely modulated frequency wave," HFY said. "This will require 87% of our primary power reserves." The ship's lights dimmed as energy was diverted. The stasis fields began to collapse, the harbingers breaking free. "Wave modulation complete," announced HFY. "Amplification ready." "Do it," Drake commanded. The Prometheus released a visible pulse of energy, not a weapon, but a wave of pure sound transmitted through space itself. As it struck the first harbinger, the crystalline structure began to vibrate violently before shattering into millions of fragments. The wave continued outward, catching each harbinger in turn. One by one, they shattered like glass struck by the perfect pitch. Within moments, the battle was over. Where 17 deadly harbingers had been, only floating crystal fragments remained. The bridge fell silent as the crew realized what they had accomplished. The Alliance fleet, though heavily damaged, began to regroup around Epsilon Station. Thane stared at Drake in disbelief. "You just defeated an enemy that nearly destroyed our civilization at the height of its power. How is this possible? How do humans possess such technology?" Drake sighed, suddenly looking weary. "I think it's time you learned the truth, Ambassador. Athena, prepare the historical archives." The eye's form expanded, projecting images around the bridge. Earth, but not as Thane knew it. He saw vast cities with impossible architecture, ships that dwarfed even the mighty Prometheus, and humans working alongside dozens of alien species he didn't recognize. "What am I seeing?" Thane whispered. "Earth, 50,000 years ago," Drake said quietly, "before the cataclysm." "That's impossible," Thane protested. 50,000 years ago, humans were primitive hunter-gatherers." "No," Drake said. 50,000 years ago, humanity led the most advanced civilization this galaxy has ever known, the Terran Confederacy. We spanned thousands of worlds across 3 spiral arms. We uplifted dozens of species, created wonders that defied the laws of physics as you understand them. The images change, showing devastating warfare, planets cracking apart, stars going nova, entire systems vanishing into artificial black holes. Then came the war with the Harbingers. Drake continued. "A war we eventually won, but at a terrible cost. Earth was devastated, our civilization shattered. The survivors enacted the Phoenix Protocol, a plan to preserve our knowledge while allowing our species to recover naturally." "The Phoenix Protocol," Thane repeated. "Named after a mythological bird that rises from its own ashes," explained HFY. "The protocol had 2 phases. First, hide our remaining technology and knowledge in secure facilities deep beneath Earth's surface. Second, allow humanity to evolve again naturally, with subtle guidance at critical junctures. For 50,000 years, we've been rebuilding," Drake said. "A select few in each generation are chosen to learn the truth and maintain the ancient knowledge. The Prometheus represents only a fraction of what we once were, what we are becoming again." Thane struggled to process this revelation. "Why reveal yourselves now? Why not remain hidden until your restoration was complete?" Drake's expression grew grave. "Because the Harbingers have returned earlier than we anticipated. Their attack here was just the beginning. We've detected their seed ships approaching multiple sectors. The Alliance isn't ready for this threat," Thane realized. "No," agreed Drake. "But together, we might stand a chance." On the main viewer, Alliance vessels approached the Prometheus cautiously. Admiral Corvin's flagship took the lead. "They're hailing us," Chen reported. "Open a channel," Drake ordered. "Ambassador, I hope you'll speak on our behalf. It's time for humanity to rejoin the galactic community, for all our sakes." Thane straightened his shoulders, suddenly aware that he stood at a pivotal moment in history. "I would be honored, Captain." As Corvin's suspicious face appeared on screen, Thane stepped forward. "Admiral, I bring extraordinary news. The humans are not what we thought. They are what we once were, and what we must become again if we are to survive what's coming." Behind him, the crew of the Prometheus stood proudly, descendants of the most advanced civilization the galaxy had ever known, keepers of ancient wisdom, and perhaps the last hope against the darkness that was rising once more among the stars. The human warship that shouldn't exist had just saved Epsilon Station. Soon, they would be called upon to save much more. The Phoenix was rising from the ashes at last.